Welcome back, guys, to video number 2. Today we're going to be doing the messy textured quiff, skin faded on the sides, and this will be my model today, Jason. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to saturate the hair completely with water. All right, once you get the hair all saturated with water real good, same thing that I'll always do on a majority of my haircuts, I'll start sectioning this out. Again, starting from the point of recession or the corner of recession, that's when I will begin my parting. And again, whichever side you prefer to start on, left, right, it doesn't really matter. So using the key tooth of my comb here, I'm just following this part back, all the way back here to the crown. Okay, once I get this all sectioned all the way around the head, you again should have this nice little horseshoe type parting on the top. So starting here on my left side, I'm going to begin to build a baseline. You may hear me mention this in the past videos. A baseline is a foundation of the haircut. Like it's the foundation that the haircut is built on, like a house. So starting here, resting the clipper comb against the parietal ridge, the highest point of the head. Nice 45-degree angle, nice and firm. I'm gonna begin to take my first cut. Now that's my guide, and I'm just gonna follow that guide here toward the front, and then I will work my way around to the back. I'm following the shape of his head as I'm moving around. Sometimes if you compensate too much in the crown, like leave too much bulk, like it kind of gives the head like an alien shape to it that like I would advise against. So then here I am on my right side, clipper comb resting nice and clean on the parietal ridge there. Nice clean 45-degree angle. And then just again, following my guide I made, working my way around the head. There's my guide in the back, and you should connect up nicely there. All right, cool. So now that you got your baseline built all the way around, now grab your trimmer, and this is where we're gonna begin the fade. So very important with any type of fade that you do, you wanna make sure that you keep the fade even. And what I mean even is you don't want nothing going like this when you set the lines. You wanna make sure that it's even, so that way when he walks out of here, one side's not right here and the other side's not up here. I like to use landmarks when I'm cutting. And one of the biggest landmarks I'll use is I'll go right off the corner of the eye socket, because eye sockets don't move. Don't rely on ears. Ears move. Like you'll see it all the time in the shop, like clients with ears that like are off. So don't ever use ears as a landmark. They will lie to you. So again, starting using my eye socket there, I'll set my guide here. And then what I like to do is before I get too far ahead of myself, I'll go over here. Again, same thing right there off the eye socket. I'll set my line. And then I have my right side and my left side, and I'm gonna bring them together. Once you have this line all the way around, I like to make sure you're even. Get in front of them and look at your lines. You can see if the line is going like this or like this. You want them to be nice and even. And this is the best way to see is looking at them straight down. Try not to make awkward eye contact. Yeah, I'm using my mirror. I mentioned this in the past video. Mirrors are a huge tool and asset, so that mirror will not lie to you. So again, I'm looking in my mirror and I'm like really just looking at that line, making sure if there's any low spots I need to adjust on it. There's a little bit right here. Once this line has been set in around the perimeter here, then I will go in and debulk it out. So I feel good about that. I'm gonna come in with my trimmer again. And just starting right here, and I'm gonna work my way around, debulking it up to the beginning of that line that I made. You'll notice I'm stopping short at the top of the ear here. You could use an ear for a marking to stop your fade, but again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, don't use an ear as a landmark for like setting a fade line. Okay, so once I get that all debulked, I'm gonna take my foil shaver and I'm just gonna foil all the way to the line, stopping about an inch and a half short of the line, and create like a nice gradual taper down to the skin. You want to be really careful with these foil shavers because you can overly bald it out, is what I'm basically getting at. Like that, you can make this way too short and it will make the cut not look right if you're not utilizing the foil shaver right. So you start wherever you feel comfortable. I'm going to start right here on the left side and just using my corner here, and I'm just at the top, I'm lightly pressing, and as I work toward the bottom, I'm pressing harder and harder. It's like you want to create essentially like a mini fade with the foil shaver. It's tricky in the beginning utilizing a foil shaver, but foil shaver can help you with so many different things along the way. Like it helps you save time of having to utilize a razor to give someone a shave. The foil shaver will get much closer than a razor will. Really take the time with the foil shaver. Listen to the machine. If you hear it really struggling and working, I mean, consider debulking it a little lower. You really don't want to take these things against hair that's any longer than I would even say a 1/4 inch. Like if it's a 1/4 inch, don't even try it. Like that's why when I debulk, I really like to use a trimmer. Trimmer gets it much shorter than a clipper does, and that way it almost makes easy work for the foil shaver to get in and do its job without having to risk pulling hair, creating ingrown hairs, all those things that, you know, the foil shaver could potentially do if not utilized correctly. So once I've got the bottom of this line that I set full shaved up to this, there's a nice little gradual transition to show the gradients. I'm then gonna start fading this out with my clipper. Starting on my left side here, clipper fully open, I'm gonna create these zones to fade out. And like I mentioned in my past video when I was fading with a bigger, like a 1.5 to a 1, this is actually going to a 0. So again, same principle, like remember your zones, 1.5, 1, half, 0. So you can see where this is a 0 right here. So again, we're gonna start with the clipper open here and about 1/2 inch up and work my way all the way around here. Okay. Again, so once I've finished creating that zone with clipper fully open, close it halfway and work my way halfway up. Something I do a little differently that I've done in the past video is when I'm skin fading, I don't go all the way around the head like I've done with the other clipper sizes. I'll stop at the center here and then I'll close fully and then finish blending out that zone on this half of the head. So once I get this zone finished being all blended out on this half of the head, then I'll kick it over to the right side of the head. And the reason I do that is just to help myself from not getting mixed up and lost in the sauce, if you will. It just keeps things clean and in order. So again, starting from my center back, clipper's halfway closed here, and I'm gonna work my way and just fade this zone out here. Okay, clipper fully closed here, and I'm just 3-toothing out and buffing out the bottom of that zone that we created. Okay, then I will grab my half and I will create another zone, another about an inch, 1/2 inch to 1 inch up. Clipper's fully open again, and we'll go all the way around the head doing that. Okay, close my clipper halfway and start blending at the zone that we created with the half guard. I like to listen to my clipper a lot when I'm fading because sometimes you can't see it, you can hear the clipper working. I always tell my barbers, you know, if they're struggling with their fade, just listen. So clipper's fully closed, finished blending out the bottom of that zone. And again, I'm starting at the center, clipper halfway closed, and then making my way over here to the right. Clipper fully closed and blending out the bottom of that zone I just created again. Okay, cool. Next thing, get my one guard, and again, same principle, about an inch up, and then just fully open with my one. Slowly working my way around the perimeter of the head, creating this new zone with the one guard. I'll work my way back around just to help kind of clean up anything that might have been missed. Once I get to the beginning, I close my clipper halfway and halfway up that zone. 3-toothing and just concentrating on any dark spots, any blemishes you may see, any little like thing that doesn't look right, a line, like you just utilize the 3-toothing technique and just scrub that corner out and you'll be able to get that right out of there. Again, okay, so I'm stopped at my center back and I'm at half. I'm just working my way halfway up that one zone we just created, fully closed. All right, cool. Now I'll take my 1.5, and this will be my last guard I'm going to use for this. But one thing I like to do sometimes if you're doing the 1.5 and the hair is just jumping out of control on you, I like to grab a comb and kind of feed it into the clipper. So the clipper is fully open, and the same thing, about a ½ inch up, and I'm just coming up and then just... Be sure not to get any of that top hair that you have sectioned out pulled down into this fade. Okay, starting back here at the beginning of the top of the 1.5, I'm closing my clipper halfway. You'll notice I keep a brush in my hand. This is really important with skin fading, keeping a nice, I prefer a softer brush because you're gonna be brushing that hair a lot. You don't want, because if hair sticks to it, it'll create like dark spots, and those dark spots can throw you up. You sit there and scrubbing on a dark spot, and all it is a piece of hair that you didn't brush off, and you just created a hole in that haircut. So that's why you notice I always have that with me. So I'm halfway closed, working my way halfway up the zone. Okay, clipper fully closed, and at the bottom of that zone, just blending out that little bit of line. And if you do have any line there, just focus on finishing the zone first and then come back and clean it up. So I'm back at center back and I'm halfway closed again, and I'm going halfway up that 1.5 zone that we created with the clipper. 3-toothing, just using the corner of my clipper there. Fully closed, bottom of the zone. And about that time, you should be pretty close to having it faded out. You notice, again, I'm checking my mirror a lot. That mirror will show you any blemish or line or anything you may have missed. Dents in the head cause dark spots, keep that in mind. Okay, so I feel good about that for now. I'm gonna take my clipper comb and I'm gonna start out here on my right side. What I'm gonna do is just this little bit of weight here in the top line here, I'm just gonna remove that out and blend it in. So I like to use the clipper comb, come in there, and there's that little bit of weight, and just get that out of there and just blend it in nicely to that 1.5 right below. Be real careful when you're doing this to not pitch that comb in too far like that. You'll just cut away all that baseline that you created. Just making sure you're keeping that nice 45-degree angle pitch that you want to have. You don't want to keep that shape, that square shape. Cool. From this point forward, the fade is all but done. I'll do a little bit of cleanup work, finishing work is what they call it. I'll just start with my 1.5 here, and I will just really focus on spots that I see darkness, like darkness here. I'm using the 1.5 because it's in the 1.5 zone. So that's why I use the 1.5. Like if you see the dark spot in your fade, make mention of where it is in the fade. Like if it's here at the top, then it's in the 1.5 zone. If it's here, then it's in the 1. If it's here, it's in the half. So you use the guard accordingly to whichever zone to get that out, if that makes sense. And I'm just detailing, kind of buffing any little darkness that I see. And I will tell you guys, like, something you want to keep in mind, fading is something that does not just come to you overnight. Like, it takes time and practice and repetition. You'll get it just putting in the rep. Okay, a little spot here with my 1 I'm going to touch up. All right, so from that point, we are finished with our sides. Our sides are faded up, and we're going to cut the top to then connect to the back and side. Again, I'm just going to be doing this messy texture top, so watch how I do this. Starting again, creating a guide down the center of the head, like to make sure it's center, keeping the fringe a little bit longer. I'll take my guide and I'll slowly work my way back. This is a messy texture. The lengths of these vary across the board. Just consult with your client pretty well beforehand and make sure that you got your length dialed in of how long they want their messy textured top to be. There's my baseline you can see here. There's my top. I'm just going to connect that in, and it's connected. I have a guide from the front to the back crown here. So same thing you see me do in the other videos. I'm gonna work my way down my right side, then my left side, and then I'm gonna cross check it. And once I'm there to that point, I will then come in and add more texture. Again, it's a messy textured cut, so it emphasizes the texturing. Starting here on my right side, there's my guide. And I'm just gonna be removing, again, cutting at a little bit of an angle each side. I don't wanna like overly square this up. I like cut it down and give it that angle. Okay, so once I got the desired length that I want, I'm gonna then come in with my simulated point cutting shears. What these do is when you make your pickup, instead of sitting there with your point cutting shears and just go like that, you take these guys and it makes a multiple point cuts across, saves you a lot of time and precision as well. It's very precise. So starting here at the front, it literally just pick up, make a cut. And I like to just work my way through and just add that texture. The overall goal with a messy texture quiff is you really want it to look messy and textury, and just you want to add all that you can to it. So once I have added a good amount of simulated point cutting to this cut, doing again down the right, down the left, and went through across, I will then pull the hair over to the left, making sure there's nothing that's overhanging. I like to make sure that that way you don't chop up too much of your fringe. Isolate the fringe out. This is just a nice little preventative measure that can help you from taking too much of the fringe off. Once I got that fringe all isolated, you can see what needs to come off there. Come underneath here. There's my pulled out to my baseline, and I just want to remove this. Connecting it to my baseline and just blending this all together nicely. I'm kind of pulling this hair back to the baseline, working my way around back of the crown here. And then let's do the same thing on this other side. I love this haircut for if you got those clients that just have so many cowlicks in their head and you're just like, come on man, like you can't do a comb over, you can't do a cut that has like a nice polished look to it just because your hair won't. So these are a go-to cut. You just got that client that's just got that jumpy hair jumping all over. Messy texture is the way to go. It's easy to implement it into the cut, and it's also really easy for the client to take care of as well. So there's my excess, pull it out to the guide underneath there and just connect it all together. And I'm gonna just do a quick, I like to take the simulated point cutting shears and I just like to make sure I don't have no super sharp corners. There's a corner right there, you can see. I like to use the simulated point cutting shears to remove it because what that's doing is adding a ton of jaggedy texture to that as well. So as I'm doing this, it's not like just a clean cut. It's a nice jaggedy blend, and again, really will set this messiness all off. There's a little corner right there. All right, so from this point, I'll then get me some heat protectant here, work it in the hair, and we're gonna blow dry this all out real good. With the messy texture, when I blow dry it, I will just start from the crown and work my way forward and just kind of taking my round brush and I'm just kind of scrubbing it, but not like aggressively hard, and just kind of slowly as I'm scrubbing, I'm moving the brush slightly. And what that's doing is helping get that hair moved around, get it dry. You want to really make sure that this hair is dry before you blend it in, because if the hair is still wet, it can give you the illusion that there's weight or a line or something. You don't want to go in there trying to cut out wet hair when your hair is just wet, you know, that you could cause yourself a ton of issues. You'll notice my client here, his cowlick right here on his crown just sticking up. Like, it's just, you know, that's again one of those many clients that you'll have. This cut will really work with what's happening right there. From that point, it's dried. I gotta blend it in real quick. So I'm gonna start over here on my right side, and I'm just gonna blend this in, the baseline to the top, and just okay, so now we blended the side, the tops in, connect in, blend it in. So from this point, I am going to connect this beard into the fade here. You see how the beard's still disconnected. Don't leave that disconnected. Some people do, and it's just, it will really elevate your service and your cuts if you just make sure that you're blending these in. Good rule of thumb, when you're connecting beards in, I like to start at the bottom of the ear. Again, like, this is one of the few times I'm going to use the ear as a reference marker, but this is just because the ear shows the length of that fade I want to create. Okay, starting with a 1.5 at the bottom of the ear, fully open, close it halfway, fully close, and I'm going to grab my one guard, and at the bottom of the ear, same principle, 1.5, 1/2. Okay, so here's my 1, half closed, fully closed. Okay, here's my half, fully open, half closed, fully closed, starting to blend in there nicely. Okay, then I'm going to take my clipper, you got a little bit of transition left, I'm going fully open right now, and I'm just honing in on where that beard's connecting in there, just like that. I like to take the foil shaver, just using the corners, and just kind of touch up where that beard connects into that fade on the side there. Just literally just with my corner creating like a zigzag. Same thing on this other side here. 1.5, fully open, half closed, fully closed. 1 guard, fully open, half closed, half guard, half closed, fully closed, clipper, no guard, fully open. I'm just buffing out that bottom line where the beard connects in to the fade there. And again, foil shaver, just the corners of the foil shaver there. All right. Sometimes if the client's beard rolls behind the ear or whatever, I like to just clean it up a little bit. All right, so from that point forward, this cut is ready for product. I'm gonna use, again, I'm gonna use a matte product for Jason's hair. I like to use something that will highlight the cut very well. Something that's just gonna be sticky, dry, will really give you that pull and showcase all that texture that you put in there. So I got a nice matte pomade, not using very much, about a knuckle's worth. And again, just working it down to the balls of my finger, working it in and just shaking it, just really using my fingers to style this up, because again, you don't want to style up a messy textured cut with a comb and keep it all clean lines. You want it to look like not a lot of effort, just rolled out of bed kind of look. From there, it's product up. I feel good about it. I'm gonna pop this cape off him, I'm gonna shave his neck, and then we'll be good to go. All right, next, get a little bit of aftershave on there. And then a little bit of talcum powder here. Just make sure you get all those loose hairs that might be stuck to the skin. This talcum powder will get rid of it. And then, let me take this off and I'll show you with the mirror. And then most importantly, how's that look for you, brother? And that, guys, is the messy textured quiff on my buddy Jay. Thanks, guys.